Previously on Windows, Mirrors, and Sliding Doors.
I'm not dead, it's like I need a little something, a little. But when you get rolling, you're like, he can't even keep up. Like, right? What do you do? But that's the question.
That's a whole other level of frustration.
And that ties into a question I was going to ask too. Does size matter?
Welcome to Windows, Mirrors, and Sliding Doors. I'm Danny.
And I'm Lynn.
So I'm going to say this. Dating after 40, what does that look like?
Does size matter?
Oh.
I don't think size matters. It's the emotion,
It's once again, it's a combination of things.
Yeah.
Size may not matter if you know how to work what you have.
Not if he got a pinky. I'm just sorry.
I'm just saying. But that might work for somebody, just not us.
Okay,
it just depends.
You gotta go if you.
I was about to say, I won't say size matters, but stamina does.
Right.
Like
the
you
emotion
said,
in the ocean. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll say this. God rest her soul. My mother shared with my sister and I have one sister. And she shared with us that you are going to experience sex in different ways at different levels. So she said, wait till you make 40. She said, ooh. She said, but when you turn 50, she said, Lord have mercy. And then she told us, she said, 60, I don't even want to talk about it. But she gave us something to look forward to. And at each time I kept saying, okay. And then I understood as I began to evolve and meet the door with the different age groups. I get it. Because now I understand what it is and what I'm supposed to experience and what I'm supposed to do. You can't just be in the moment, meet the man in the middle, and expect him to make everything happen. You have to be
participant. Yes,
I do agree.
It's an
Absolutely.
engagement. It's not a come and satisfy me. It's a come, let's take care of each other.
Right.
Please
I do agree.
Be mindful of that. Pay attention.
Yeah, because I would say honestly that I didn't begin to enjoy intimacy until I was 30. I didn't understand it. The whole dynamic to me was a chore.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But if that's the case, then what made you want it? That's a question. If it was a
my
chore,
partner took
partner.
the time. He took the time to
open
show me,
So, but how about
the
prior
ropes.
to that? What if we didn't really get it, right? Because at some point we didn't get it. What made us want to engage in sexual activity?
For me, it was conversations from other individuals stating that it was such an awesome experience, takes you on a different plane, and telling me about their encounters with individuals. It was just like,
You want to experience that, yes.
But for me, I didn't experience that in the beginning, so it was just like, nah, I'm good. I don't want no parts of this. But someone came into my life, and he was patient, and he took his time, and it was like, hey, this is what it is for me, baby. Yeah, I want
And
it.
I can relate to that. I married young, and I think I've always had a healthy sex drive, but after divorcing, and I think at certain levels, like you said, your mother mentioned different ages. I think at certain levels and in different relationships, you learn yourself more, and then when you meet someone who can open you up to different things, or just like you said, take the time to
teach you.
Where my husband and I were compatible, but somehow at the age maybe that we met, I was like a little girl, this innocent little thing to him.
Right.
And when I tried to progress to other things, it was kind of shunned. So when you get out of that, until you get into the next relationship with someone who has a different view, you may not even realize your mind wasn't open to certain things. And so I think having that right partner that you can communicate with.
Right.
My husband and I didn't talk about sex. We had sex, we had plenty of it, but we didn't talk about it. So when you get to different levels and stages in life where you can grow with other people, and like you said, having conversations with girlfriends or the person you're dealing with, it becomes a completely different experience. And
Agreed.
I'm excited to hear what your mom had to say. It gives me something to look forward to.
I mean, a lot of times my sister and I was like, hey, it's too much. But you know what? I appreciate it, and how I wish that she was here now for me to engage with her about the things that I'm experiencing. So since we talked about sex, has anyone had the pleasure of dating a younger man? Okay,
Oh,
so someone is very honest and they raise their hand and the other person is patting their hair.
Yes, I have.
So, Chandra, share.
Um,
How junior? How much junior? If you don't mind, and if you
well,
don't, it's okay.
I was like 45,
Okay.
and he was only 22.
Shaka
To me
Zulu.
about that. I'm sorry. Oh wait, no. Can we get some finger snaps? Some finger snaps for that.
Yeah.
22. Talk to me about that.
You know, we both island girls.
Yes.
So, I just, you know, it was
exciting?
because I hadn't, right. So during that time when I met this particular person, I hadn't been in a relationship or engaged with anybody for like a year or two.
Okay.
And then it was really adventurous, and you know, you get that spark, and it was kind of like this younger person thinking you're like so sexy and you're so fine. And I just found myself doing it in every place that I imaginably possible.
I love it.
And you know, even, you know, and it was funny because it was actually, you know, Stella got a group back because I was in the islands when I was doing it.
Oh my God, we'll have to have you back on and talk about that.
Yeah. So, and we kept in contact for a while, and then it came to a point where he wanted to get married, girl.
Shaka Zulu. Oh,
Yeah.
Lord.
My.
Wow, that's a whole other
But I was
conversation.
like, no.
Well, you know, I gotta ask you,
Yeah.
in the long and the short, why? Why not? Why not consider marrying somebody that you seem to be compatible with? You definitely enjoyed the sex, and he made you feel good.
Because I was a lot, you know, I still in my mind, I'm like, I'm an older woman.
You
my
felt like
son,
you had more life to live.
Okay.
He could probably be my son, you
Right.
know.
Understand.
And I kind of felt like, not to just be fair to him,
Right.
he was still growing. You
Had
know,
more life to live
He
than-
experienced
Exactly.
his life. He was living at home. You know, I kind of felt, you know how it is when you with somebody young, they don't have a car. They really, you know,
Right.
they just got like someone, you know,
They're not
like
as
they're still
established.
developed. Right.
I was
They're not
there.
as established. So you kind of feel like, you know, even though he wanted to do all these things, I kind of felt like you're just, you know, I don't
In the
really know
moment.
honestly if that's really what you want to do, because you still have your whole life ahead of you.
Right.
You haven't had your children and things
And you
like
weren't
that, and
interested
I
in
wasn't
having any
interested
more.
in having
Right.
any children.
Right.
You know, so I just wanted to be fair, you know, and so I mean, and we. Like I said, we still remain good friends, and we
Okay.
still keep in contact to this day. But he's
Great.
done his own thing and got married, and
Okay.
you know, so it's all good.
That's great. That's a beautiful story. There you
is.
have it.
It is.
22 meets 45, and it was a good ride.
It sure was.
Yeah,
All right.
What about you, Miss DeMonica? Younger man ever?
No.
Never?
No. I
Not
mean,
even a
two,
year?
3 years younger. I don't
Okay,
count
but that's
that as
still younger.
younger. Well, in my mind, I'm thinking more,
Okay.
you know,
Mhm.
Okay.
robbing the cradle type young. But no,
Right.
I haven't had that experience.
You
I
know what,
won't
there's no
say,
such
I
thing
never
as
say
robbing the
never.
cradle, It's
Yeah.
only rocking it.
Oh,
rock the
okay.
cradle.
I was
Okay.
rocking it hard. I'm just saying.
So, Miss Lynn, let's talk about it.
Yeah, so you might as well share now.
Younger? Let's talk about it.
He was 27,
Ooh. And you were?
43.
Ooh.
So it was, yesterday. No, I'm kidding.
Uh-uh.
No. And I met him at a birthday party, and I was so cute. And we just immediately connected. He had everything was just so, and we vibed for a nice amount of months. But I was trying to get him he had aspirations to do a lot of different things, but it just didn't work out. It just didn't work out. I wish that it would have. Age difference and all. I wish it would have worked out, but it didn't. That loving was good though.
Well, I'm going to tell you
saying.
this. No, go ahead. I want to hear.
No, I was just saying that when she said the loving was good, I'm like, hey, I agree with that.
Yes.
You know,
It was.
it's,
I
don't
stamina.
know if it's just, yes.
They
It's
got
about
nothing
something
but
being
stamina.
together.
They don't
Yeah.
want to sleep. They just want to go. And it's like, okay, wait, slow down, hold on. I gotta go to work in the morning. Like, wait a minute.
So I take my hat off, or I just kind of restructure my crown to you queens, because although I've had ample opportunity to engage with a younger man, I've not been able to do it, which is why I found it's so interesting when you shared the difference in age with, your past relationship with the 22-year-old gentleman. And I just have not been able to do it. And I guess maybe because of reasons related to the fact that I have a son that's 25 years old. I mean, but how would he know unless I told him, right? How would he know unless he ever encountered us? I just wasn't able to do it. So you know what? I'm envious of you because I would have liked to have experienced that, especially if there's one in particular that I would have liked to experience it. But my mind told me, and I've learned to follow my mind. At some point, you've got to grow up and just do it. My mind told me that if I did, it was going to be like tick, tick, boom.
Mind
And it was going to
blown.
be out of control. And there was no way that once those neurons were flying in the air, I was going to be able to pull them back and pack them away. So I said, you know what? This is not going to be good for me. So I can't do it. But I just, when you were sharing just now, I pictured you on the beach.
Well, because you know what? I was
Yes.
honestly, when I was there the whole time, because I was there visiting my family,
Yeah, you were in the Caymans,
right?
right? Yes.
But I was still keeping it secret. Now my mom,
Mhm.
they would be like, "Where you going?" I'd be like, "Oh, I'm just going out to the back." All right. So I was still doing it. Nobody knew. It was just us.
Right.
And my son, of course, he didn't have any clue. He's doing his own thing.
Right.
Spending time with family. So
Right.
but at some point, I'll tell you a little story. Like there was one time where I went. It was late in the evening and went down the street. We went on the beach.
Yes.
And we ended up
Yes.
staying on the beach.
I hope so.
Yes. Don't miss that
Don't disappoint
opportunity.
me.
What, girl?
Don't you dare.
Yes.
But so I put my clothes back on, but I put my clothes on
Backwards.
inside out
Uh-huh.
with the tag. The tag was in the front. So when I came back home, I was like, "Hey, how you doing?" Whatever.
like,
Just
And they looking at you.
and my mother was like,
Okay.
"Hello." I was like, "Oh my god!" But I was
It
like,
got
"You
hot
talking
and I
about-"
took it off. Right.
See what
Right, what
happened
you
was.
been
Did
doing?
she ever question you about what was
She
going
never.
on?
My mother was always like, to be honest, my mom didn't really talk a lot about sex and
Okay.
relationships in front of me. I don't know why. We never really had that type of
Right.
relationship.
Different
So
generation.
she would. So I'm sure as a mom, she knew what was going on, but she
Right.
never confronted me on it, or she
Okay.
never actually said something.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But she would bring it to my attention. I just kind of played it off like, oh, I don't know. I guess I must have just put it on or something like that.
Wow.
Right.
But
That is. But you
I-
know what? I'm gonna tell you what I see. When you share that experience, there's such a glow. There's like a halo around you. To have experienced that at least once in your lifetime, I think that's a beautiful love story. Just a love story with yourself.
yeah.
My question would be, do you feel that it enhanced your life, or do you have any regrets in regards to that experience?
I don't have any regrets because most of the time, my son's father was my one great true love that I love. And most of the guys that I've dated after I have experience, I mean, I've dated younger men too. I guess the 22-year-old was probably the greatest age difference.
Yes.
But I think they all enhanced my life in some way
good.
at
That's very
different
good to
points.
hear. Mhm.
Because I think when you're, I've never been married and I've been single, obviously, for all of my life. And being a single mom too. I've had to, you question yourself on a lot of things and you kind of question like, maybe if I did this different, or I didn't do this or whatever. And I've kind of learned to, appreciate myself more and love myself more because I think during those time periods, I was looking for something.
Yes.
You kind of looking for the spark or looking for somebody to build you up. And I had to learn to, after those experiences, it kind of just made me take a look back at myself and just help make me have a better perspective of like knowing that I'm good enough, that I can do what I want to do, and I don't have to, excuse me, I don't have to rely on somebody else, or I don't have to look for other people to build me up and kind of building up my self-respect.
Definitely,
So-
yes.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, just more or less, just I think now that I'm older, I love myself more, and I couldn't say that back then.
Well, you
I
know
can
what?
relate. Definitely.
Right. I applaud you. I applaud you, and I
Definitely.
support you in that. What would you change if you could right now to make it a perfect situation for you with respect to engaging with the opposite sex? What could you change right now?
Would you change anything at all?
Right.
I I don't think I would necessarily change who I am. Like I said, I think I've come to be a better person.
Oh, absolutely.
But I know for me, because I haven't experienced a real connection, you know, now that so much time has passed, I would like to have a partner, you know, somebody to share, you know, the rest of my life with, you know. But I also realize that I'm comfortable in myself if I don't. Like, if I don't have somebody who does that.
Definitely
you know?
love
If I
that.
don't meet
Definitely,
somebody-
definitely love that.
I'm hanging on her every word. I just almost missed the snap.
Yeah.
What about you?
I'm learning as I'm sitting here. I'm trying to think. What would I, if I could just learn to let my walls down just a little bit? I'm just very guarded.
Okay.
I would like to meet someone who I can just let all my inhibitions go. You know,
Okay.
I have self-love. I've learned a lot, but if I could connect with that person that just, I know you have my back, I have
A
your
safe
back,
place.
a safe place.
Right.
I just think the relationship could be awesome.
Okay. I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
What about you, Danny?
I would like to choose differently. There was definitely a prevailing theme in the type of men that I choose to engage with. I've also been told, again, God rest her soul, my mother, that I have the propensity to bring home the birds with broken wings. And she's like, my God, please find someone who's on your level, someone like-minded, someone who has some aspiration to do more than just what they're doing. And for me, the expectation is that, one, I have to be able to have a conversation with him on every level. Music, what's going on in current events. We have to be able to talk politics a little bit without wanting to get up and have a fight about it, you know? And actually, he has to believe in God. That doesn't mean he has to go to church every day. That doesn't mean that I have to go to his home and see pictures of how he envisioned Jesus to be. But he has to accept that there is some power higher than our existence.
God-fearing man.
And not be opposed to it. So let me just say this to you. The last person that I guess I'll say I was dating, I really dug him. And I had no idea that I was actually going to fall in love with this person. And I did, and I was like, oh my God, what's happening? I find myself to be the consummate player, right? I'm going to say it. I said it, the consummate player. And here I am, falling in love with a man who is not available. Not that he's not available because he's married, because I don't do that. He's not married, but he's not available emotionally. And he let me know that he was not available emotionally. And although I could sit and engage with him in a conversation because he was smart enough, there were issues based on his life, based on past relationships, maybe based on the way he was brought up, maybe things he's experienced as a child that made him who he is today. And it wasn't tantamount to what I needed in a man or what I expected in a man. But the sex was good. The sex was amazing. The sex was awesome. It was dynamite. It was phenomenal. And it was like as if he and I had created it. Because when we came together, it was amazing. But he just has an issue with women, believe it or not. And so here I am in love with somebody that's not available. And my feelings are hurt. And now when I try to separate myself from him, every now and then he rears his ugly head. And it's almost like just to be abusive. You know, emotionally abusive. I don't want you to be happy. Let me mess up your head. And why? So for me, if I could change anything, it would be the type of men that I engage. Because I could see from the door that, this is not going to work. But you know what, let me just jump his bones because that's all he's going to be good for and that kind of thing. So
Okay.
if I could change that about me, that's what I would change.
I was just going to ask her, like, did you see the red flag? Like, did you see any red flags prior to that? Because
oh my God, absolutely.
Your situation sounds similar to my current situation. So, because the guy that I'm dating, it's like he's the same thing. Like he has everything going well for him, and he's just a good person. But it's just lack of emotion. Like, you know, it's it just seems like we're just on a different level. And it seems like the more like I'm more like I can be an open book. I can be in your face, you know, with my feelings and everything.
Yeah, no issue with
it's like once they, to me, I kind of feel like once they see that you're getting, like you're going there with, you know, you're getting there with them, or you're getting ready to, they pull back.
I gotcha.
Right, they sabotage.
She not going
They pull
nowhere.
back. Right.
It becomes
no,
a
no, they
game,
sabotage
and that's something
it.
I don't
Now I have to be
enjoy.
responsible.
I don't, and
Don't
that's
have
when
time
I
for it.
just cut. It's just like, you know what?
They
and I'm
pull
not
back.
going to tell you I'm not doing the game. You're just done. I'm done.
I see you. Bye-bye.
But see,
Right,
that's me too.
exactly.
And I want to be able to change that. I want to be able to commit to something that I started. And if it is going to end, it needs to end differently. Not for me to say, hey, bye-bye. Did you not hear what I said? Be gone.
Right,
That's
but-
not right, and it's not fair.
Understood, but at the same time, if a person is attempting to play games with your emotions,
Exactly.
then you have to let them know, I'm not the one to play with.
And everybody has
But I
a
mean, that's
different way of
different,
doing
right.
that. My way, I have the tendency when I'm done to I just shut off.
Right.
I don't need to have a conversation with you, just like you didn't have a conversation with me
me.
that you wanted to play a
Yes.
game.
That leads me.
I'm just done. So
Right.
I don't
Yes.
say bye-bye. I'm
Right.
just done. So when my phone rings and I don't answer, you get it. You don't have
I mean,
to
I
understand
used to
why,
do
and
that,
I
but
don't
I
want to have a
don't do that
conversation
anymore.
about it.
That leads
Let's
me.
talk
I don't
about
wanna
that.
talk about
Men,
it.
you do it too. They like to say that women do it, but you do it too. You guys don't. No means no. Don't call me. Don't call me. Don't think you're gonna call like 2 weeks later and be like, "Hey, what's good?" What's good is why you call it. I
That-
told you not to call me.
That leads me to my next question. Ghosting.
Oh, yes.
Have you guys ever been ghosted? You've never been ghosted?
I don't think I've been ghosted, but I think, like you said, sometimes you see the flags. You see the pullback when things start to
I've
get
ghosted
good.
people.
Stay tuned for the next episode of Dating After 40 on windows, mirrors, and sliding doors.